Hello, we're back again. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Couple of things before we get into today's show. I want to put out an apology. I apologise to two promoters. I want to apologise to Roman, the team at Antidote, and Chris and at Sectioned because I was plugging last week's events and I didn't mention them. I do apologise. I only realised after the stream that I didn't mention it. So that was just me being thick and I do apologise about that. But we'll just get started. Hope everyone's had a good week. What's going to be coming up today is we've got some really interesting questions. Getting a lot of questions from YouTube now. Before it was just more in the Discord, but we're getting a lot of questions from the YouTube. So that's looking good. A couple of things from TikTok. And if you're new to this and you've never watched this before, what this is and how it's structured is we do a bit of a Q&A session, what people's wrote in. I'll give my opinion and my 2 pence on something. Not that it's worth anything, but, we just get into it and we'll go from there. And then we have a bit of an event run through, so what's on this weekend. And I've came prepared this week. Obviously, there's 6 or 7 decent events on this week, which I want to go over. And lastly, we will be finishing with some track reviews as well. So we'll be listening to some music together and we'll be, pulling them apart, as somebody said. I don't mean to as that. It's all constructive. And if I do love something, I will tell you. Like I say, we've got a couple of bits this week. We've got a new one from Danny Gibson. We've got a new one from DVB. And we've got a new one from Dew. A bit of a transfer. So, yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But, yeah, we'll just get kick-started with today's questions segment. So, if you do have any questions that you want to discuss and, put your 2 pence in, like, if you're watching along now, drop your opinion in the comments on your thoughts on some of these questions and topics that we're discussing. I think it's really good to talk about stuff, and it's how we can see the scene progress as well. I say this every week now. If people give feedback, whether you're a raver, a DJ, an MC, promoter, even working in the clubs and getting to see what like bar staff and things like that, and you get to see what it looks like from your perspective. If you've got a perspective on something, let us know, because I think it's really interesting conversation to be had. That said, we'll get started. So, first question is from YouTube, and it's MUFC 1988. And this one, I haven't really thought about it, so I apologise if I start stumbling my words and things, but it says, at this point in your career, do you feel like you've achieved At this point in your career, do you feel like you've achieved success in music? Hard question. If you'd ask me, do you feel like you've reached the point that you aimed for in music, I'm going to say absolutely. In fact, I've went beyond that. But do you feel like I'm successful? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say somewhat successful, but I'm one of these people. I'm honest. If you ask me something, I'll give you my honest opinion. And there's a lot of people out there who's fake it till you make it type thing. So it's like, oh, look at all these amazing things that I'm doing and whatnot. I've had some nice achievements in which I could only have dreamed of as a sort of teenager, And that said, I wouldn't say I'm successful. Like, there's a lot more people in our hard dance scene who's achieved a lot more than I have. So success measured on a stick. What is successful? How do you quantify it? And I have a lot of highs and a lot of lows. There's times where I feel absolutely irrelevant. And this is me being honest. I'm not going to fake it to make it say, I'm always continuously pushing and pushing and pushing. I am continuously pushing, but a lot of stuff that I do push in my music sometimes doesn't hit. And me and John share these frustrations ourselves. I'm sure John will put his 5 pence in the comments as well, and say like, it's a hard scene to see, if your shit's working. I see people playing our music at gigs and festivals and things like that, and I'm like, that's good, and that's where you get the little endorphins hit. But then there's times when you don't hit, it's like radio silence for weeks, sometimes months, and that's one thing that really does make me feel like maybe I'm not as not successful. So I believe in transparency because I know a lot of people wouldn't as well, where they go, oh, look at this, we're doing X amount of million streams on Spotify, I've got X amount of gigs per year. Success wise, I think I've had some success in the past. Gigs wise, I've played a lot of gigs I could only have ever dreamed of, like playing things like BTID, playing Sanctuary. That was my thing as a kid. All I wanted to do was go to Sanctuary events, never mind play them, and I was resident there for a few years. I think I played Sanctuary for over 13 years on and off, played Sanctuary for. So that's like more than I could ever have asked for back in the day. I've had some really good international gigs, random, but they were good. At the time, I was making some harder stuff. I played in Spain 3 times, and I played in France once. And I was luckily in and lucky enough to play in Hong Kong as well, in Wan Chai, which that was an experience in itself. Me playing sort of the DJ on before me playing 130 Melbourne bounce. That was what was big at the time back in like 2013, and I came on playing sort of 138 up to 140 Scouse house, and the place, it went off. It was real good. But I look back at this like and say, am I successful? Yes, to an extent, because I have a really niche record label with John. Working with him on the Manic project, like, I grew up. I've got a little bit of a story actually here. I grew up listening to John on the Crick CDs and tapes, and this is quite an interesting one. I remember my mate Macaulay. He used to have a few tapes, and I used to have a few tapes and whatnot, and we'd be listening to these, thinking, "Fuck me." The atmosphere in that the cricketer sounds absolutely insane. In our heads, I think we thought it was like some sort of super club, and and then hearing like Exea and TH Express and all of the Italian stuff, and then even like the dinky stuff as well. We were just like, fuck. And now I make music with John, so like, talk about unimaginable at the time. And that's what I'm very grateful for what I've got. I've got a small niche label. I'll be like, the people who follow the label love what we do, and we've got. If I was going to put on, or if I had to put like a good bet on, what does our following look like? We don't have thousands and thousands of followers. We have, I think on paper, we've got a couple of thousand followers across our social medias and things like that. And streams wise, obviously translates to that too. But I think if I was going to strip it all back and say how many like actual followers who check out everything that you do and things like that, I would say it would be 30 people, if that. Like 30 people's, and that's really, really pushing it, who engage in everything that you do, who's genuinely interested in what's next, and who remember everything that you've done. We talk to some people, and they'll say, "I remember this tune from this time," and it's like, I'm unbelievably grateful for that. Like I'm, if no one's picked up, I'm probably somewhat on the spectrum. I remember dates, times, track releases, record labels, stupidly when I really, really, really shouldn't. Like, there's some odd things that I do remember, and it's understandable if I do it. But if someone comes to me and say, "Oh, this tune that you did, in, I don't know, 2018, whatever," and it was you played at this event, and I'm just like, "Oh wow, that's where you think, you know what, I probably am a little bit successful," because, and it's not an ego thing. It's just like, somebody feels about our music like I feel about other people's music. So, I think that's achieved what I set out to do. Full transparency, we've got shit streams. I say shit, but like, there's 1,000,001 artists out there who's doing a lot. We're in probably the bottom percentile when it comes to streams. Realistically, it's not great. But like I say, we get a lot of repeat listeners, which is a good thing. And we're always trying to continually grow. But yeah, so again, from MUFC 1988, would you say you're successful? I'm going to say no. We're continuously pushing for success, but I wouldn't say we're successful. Although I am grateful for the things I've achieved and we've achieved together. I wouldn't say we're successful as such. I don't have gigs now, and I haven't had gigs in 12 months. So I mustn't be doing something right. And we put out music, and they do okay stream wise, but like I said, if there was a hierarchy, there's 1,000,001 people above us, or above me at least. John's reputation, and he's always gigging here, there, and everywhere. But for myself, no, I wouldn't consider myself successful, and that's just the brutal honesty of it, isn't it? Let's see. Second question comes from Scotty Shack 2402, and this is on YouTube. Do you think a DJ should accommodate an MC or not? I hope there's no MCs listening to this, but I'm going to say contextually, right? So I'm going to give you context. Instant answer is no. It's always about the dance floor. So if a DJ is playing tunes, he's playing tunes for the dance floor, not for the MCs. Secondly, when I say context, recently I produced a track for Pricey, MC Pricey, and that was just specifically so he could spit bars over it. It's not made for a club environment. Some people might play the tune in a club environment, but I can't think of times where I would personally, and that's fine, And if you've got a night on that is very much like, I don't know, something like the Old Medicine, where it's just fucking thrown it right off, where it's like MC based music, like the pokey stuff, the harder bounce stuff, and that MC wise, that's very, very fitting, and you would tend to play for that because that's what most of the audience from that sort of niche of the scene has come to see. They've come to see the MC standing in a circle and going for it. The DJ is just complimentary at that point, in my opinion. But any other situation, you think of any events at all that's out there, wherever it is in the UK and further afield, the DJ should always be playing to the crowd first, and then if there's an MC on, the MC should be complementing the music, not the other way around. So that's my take on that, Scotty. Really good question. But if anyone in the comments, disagrees with me, let me know. Or if you agree and want to put your perspective on that as well, also let me know. But that's what I'm taking away from this today. My point of view is DJ should be playing a tune to get bums wiggling, essentially, and that's the way I see it. If you were to play tunes for the MC and then and it was absolutely like the MC was absolutely loving it and they were smashing it because they were getting to get like fucking 32 or 64 bar places within the tracks where they can do the shit, right? That's cool. But if people are leaving the dance floor, you're not doing your job right. That's sort of my take on it. Do you know what I mean? If you can find that balance, and the promoters asked you to do so, then absolutely go for it. Like I say, it's got to be contextual. But as a rule of thumb, absolutely, DJ should be playing to the floor, not to the MC. And that's that for questions. I didn't want to get into the depths of the questions this week, because there is a few things I want to talk about as we go through this. So I'm going to be putting the flyers and things like that as we go through the flyer and events in a second. I think I've got everything on this, and I apologise. If you are a promoter and you want me to promote your event on the week of your event, drop me a message and I'll do so. That's what this is about. If anyone's been to any class events that I've been talking about in the comments, let me know, because this is another thing. Like, I'm promoting events on the way up to them and saying, you should maybe go to this because of this reason and whatnot. Then if you've been to the events, let me know how they went. You know what I mean? If you were at an event last weekend and it went off, let's talk about it, because this is what Scene Chat, this is what it is. Talking about how good the event was, what you enjoyed, what DJs smashed it, I'm hearing all sorts of good things from different events, but I want to hear other people's perspective as well. So let's see what events we've got on this week. I'm just reading from here, so I do apologise if I'm looking away. Let's see. First off, Billy Gillis is on tour, UK tour this week. Lineup stacked. I mean, look at that for yourself. The Dome in Liverpool, I was there about 2 months ago at Lee Butler's Old School Nights, and what a venue it is. Absolute like classic feel to it. I really, really loved it. But look at this lineup: Billy Gillis, Brian Kearney, I know Liam Wilson as well. Middleton, I'm not too familiar with. Morgan Casira, I'm not too familiar with. And DJ, I'm not too familiar with. But Billy, Brian, and Liam, all really good sets I've seen from them in the past. That will be, if you're local to Liverpool, that will be going off absolutely. Next up, we have WHE presents Darren Styles and Hixie. This is I want to say Exio club in Birmingham, with support from Kayleen Scar, absolute lovely lady and brilliant DJ, Millie Garrett and Martin Sacri. I'll be honest with you, I don't know who they are, but Darren Styles, Hixie, and Kayleen Scar on a lineup. Yes, please. That sounds very good to me. If you're a hardcore head, you'll love that. You'll be loving that. Next up, we have Loved Up. Right, I'm promoting this because I've only ever seen this event from one person's perspective, and it's Pete Monsoon's. Pete Monsoon seems to be a regular on here. Old School Club and Club Classics. This is Zach's birthday bash, Loved Up, at the Golden Lion in Todmorden. I know nothing about this event other than the videos I've seen from Pete, and this looks like an absolute belter old school party. So if you're local to Todmorden, I don't even know where that's at. I'm assuming it's somewhere in Yorkshire. And you like your old school and club classics, this is a must. I mean, you'd be going along just to see Pete Monsoon. It'd be great, fantastic. Next up, we have, this is a biggie. I seen this one a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, ooh, interesting. This is the big East Coast rave from Havoc. This is on Saturday at the Hive in Skegness. It's advertised as, dance anthems, house, drum and bass, hardcore, hardstyle. Look at the lineup for yourself there. You've got Andy Whitby, Club Filler, Ian Van Dahl, Mark Breeze, Nicky Blackmarket. Nicky Blackmarket, by the way, phenomenal DJ. As well as a whole host of other DJs on there. I mean, it gets a little bit too small DJ-wise on the flyer for my liking. I had to proper squint to see that. But 5 arenas, if you're local to Skegness, this is a must as well. Like, absolute stacked lineup there. Yeah. And Slipmat as well. I forgot to mention Slipmat. Legend in the game. So yeah, that is this Saturday. We have Back to the 90s Festival in Bournemouth at the O2 Academy. Entrance DJ set. You've got Rebecca Rudd live, Ultra Beats, Too Funky 2, and Live in Joy. I mean, this is just, to me, this is 90s into the 2000s sort of era. But I mean, if you notice that the pattern in some of these events that I'm talking about here, a lot of them are really, really leaning on the nostalgia. And if you think of late 90s, early 2000s, you'll always think of things like, Ultra Beats, Entrance, Too Funky 2, Live and Joy, etc. So if that's your style, then go for that. That should be good. Bournemouth, it's a bit of a trek away from me, that personally, but I'm sure there's somebody watching who will find that useful. This one, really, I find this event really exciting. I do mean to get to one of them, right? And this is A Moment in Time. I think it's Mike Charnock who runs these at Sankey Street Basement in Warrington. So, I mean, look at the flyer on here. Lineup, class. Like, Rob Tessera is the absolute boy. Obviously, you've got a whole load of others there as well. Jamie Agar, Buddy and Wrecker, obviously Mike Charnock himself, Project D and James Sempe, Cy Freighter, Green Bins, and Fades. I'm not too familiar with Fades, but everyone else I've heard and highly rate. If you like your old school, again, similar to the theme I've been talking about here, if you like your old school, this is a must if you're close to Warrington. Rob Tessera will be amazing. Like, the guy's phenomenal. He's got phenomenal energy as well. But again, shout to James Sempe as well. Great DJ. He supports a lot of the Manic stuff. But yeah, that'll be quality. That's this Saturday in Warrington, Sankey Street Basement. And I believe that is all for events wise this week. So if you're a promoter and you've got an event and you want to send me the flyer, I'll happily talk about it and give my 2 pence on that this weekend. Like I said, the reason that I do that, there's no like agenda or anything behind it. The reason that I do this is because I don't see sometimes flyers local to myself where I'm like, it's not. Is it down to bad promotion? Questionable. I don't know. But if somebody's watching this and is local to any of those events and they go to it, it's just about keeping that cycle of like the interest and the hype and the excitement of the events. This is what it's about. It pays off for everyone in the end, for the promoter, the DJs, the people going to these events. The more people who's going out, I understand times are hard, but the more people who go out and support these events, the longer they're going to stay alive. And I say that like it's an old dog. I don't mean it in that context. We are going through questionable times. There's the oil crisis. I don't want to get too political within this, but there's a lot of things now that's putting a real strain on people financially, and they may only be getting out. I was talking with Rob Kane the other day, and we were chatting about what does the events look like in the next 2 years compared to 2 years ago, and we were talking back and forth, and we were having a conversation about, is weekly clubbing dead? And again, I'd like to know people's listening's opinion. Like, you don't hear of people going out every week anymore, or I think over the next couple of years, times will get a little bit harder. I'm trying to be glass half full here, not glass half empty. I want to be optimistic. If there's an event on and and you're excited about it and you want to go and you've got that expendable cash to go, then absolutely go and attend it. When you go through the doors to the club or the event, just switch off and enjoy your night, and let all world's problems at the door, as they say, because it is difficult at the moment, and there will be a lot less events going on in a couple of years' time, because you can see even immediately now there's a little bit of a backlash off these fuel prices, off basically the full cost of living essentially, and with that, the people who were going out twice a month maybe only go out once a month. The people who are going out once a month might be going out once every 3 months. There's people who go out 3 times a year who only be going out once a year, and they'll be saving themselves for, say, like a big event that they anticipate for that full year, whether it's a festival or whether it's a reunion of some sort that's once a year. That said, like, not forcing anybody to go out, but like if you want to support the events and things like that, if an event's a bit shit when you turn up, right, because the numbers aren't there, bear in mind that there is a cost of living on, and the amount of times I've turned up to gigs over the years where there's been a handful of people on the dance floor. Make the most of your night. You've got a babysitter, and you've got you've got a new rig out. You've spent money on that night. Why not enjoy it? Do you know what I mean? And that's the way I see it. So even if a club's half dead, I'll still. Me personally would still perform to the best of my ability and get stuck in, giving it beans whilst DJing to a half empty club. I've done that hundreds of times. And if you get there, it's an absolute rammed event, because there is still rammed events out there. You've seen a few things recently. It's mad. It's mad when you see an extremely busy event, because it shows that the people still want to go out. And are they saving themselves for that big event? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Just enjoy yourself, and that's what it's all about. Speaking of venues and whatnot, obviously the big news this week was the fire at Park Hall. We know that someone's been arrested for the arson attempt now, and there's been a statement put out. I just want to say I hope everyone who's involved at Park Hall and stuff like that I hope there's no jobs lost due to cutbacks and things like that to office staff and things. The venue have said that they're going to be okay. There's some repairs needing to be done, but it's still going to be there, which is absolutely phenomenal news. But it's just a shame that it happened. I've got no other words on it, and I've seen some stupid things said online. I wouldn't really entertain, but honestly, I'm just happy that it's still there, because it is a legendary venue within the north of England. You see some absolutely phenomenal things. Like, you've got obviously the BTIDs are there. Pumping Land was there last weekend or the weekend before. You've got More Cake, you've got Good Grief, all of these various styles, whether you're into your bounce, your old school, hard style, hard house, etc. They host here, and it would be a shame to see something as iconic as that disappear. But that's just my take on that. What we're going to do is we'll jump straight into the track reviews then. So I know that some people are really enjoying these track reviews. If you're a producer and you have got tracks to put forward, obviously just send them in to me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever way you contact me, just do so. We'll get straight into it then. Track reviews. First one we're going to kick off with this week is a track from Dew. So Dew is a trance DJ and trance producer based out of Carlisle. I've known Dew a good few years now. It must have been, I don't know, 10 plus years, maybe more. And he started off as a learning as a bit of a bounce producer. He did a couple of good tunes. There's one that sticks out to me. He did a remix of "Music Is My Life," and it was quite fun. But you could hear the trancey elements to his sound there, and I had a feeling he would jump over to the sort of trance sound, which he did do. And from what I can see, he's been quite successful in that area. So well done to him. The tune he sent in is. So last week, again, I'm not going to go into the details behind the track again because last week we went over that extensively. If you want to go and listen to it, it's a remix of Space Brothers, One More Chance. So Ryan Neal sent in his remix of that last week, and obviously I gave you a bit of an origin story of the Space Brothers, One More Chance tune. This is more trancey. I have briefly listened to this, but it was just on my phone when he sent it over. What I'm going to do now is, this is essentially a blind listen. I've not actually listened to this fully all the way through. I just thought, this will be good for the show, so we'll have a listen. So this is Space Brothers, One More Chance, and it's the Dew remix. Tell us what you think of this.
I'm
Well. I'll be honest. I fucking love that. That was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Right, a couple of immediate things I want to sort of address on this. Obviously, the vocal. It's been revocaled. I'm assuming, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is it an AI vocal that you've used there? If it's not, you've got yourself a fantastic vocalist. And I love the twist that you put on that there. A couple of things that stuck out for me, and I'm going to go for what I like musically, then we'll talk about production. So musically, your chord progressions are fucking lush. Like the way you've used the keys, rather than the actual chord progression itself, the way you've layered it up, whether it's on the breakdown or whether it's when the beat's playing. You've got a lovely wide pad there, and you've got some strings that, I don't know, it captures the emotion. Obviously the riff is fantastic. There's nothing I would change there. Build up was great. I've got nothing I can say. That I'd happily play this in a bounce set if I was on early enough and I could get away with playing it a little bit faster. I'd absolutely play this. I think I got shivers during it, so quality track, quality. A couple of notable things there. I love what you've done with the bass. I hear this quite a lot in more modern trance as well, where the attack isn't hitting exactly the sort of 0.5 to sort of 0.8 milliseconds of, so it's more wump rather than hitting on the sort of the 0 seconds like a typical sort of offbeat would. I love that. It's got a real pump and vibe to that. Which again, we'll just play it and then I'll show you what I mean. That there, wump, wump, wump. It's really nice. Them ad libs as well. Them ad libs are beautiful. And one thing that you do really, really well is the bed that you use. Listen to it. So the pads and the sort of wide drone sound, fantastic use of it. You blend it from the when the track beats and everything is playing into the breakdown. Very, very smooth. Very, very smooth. This part here as well. Here, the keys are fantastic. One thing you do really, really well, which sometimes does get missed, you cover the full frequency spectrum. I'm going to rewind it again and I'll show you what I mean. You've got a lovely sub sitting under there, following the chord progression. You've got nice central strings, but there's a nice width to it as well, like I said a second ago. And then the melodic element just is the cherry on top. Listen to this here. Listen to how full and rich this track sounds. Fantastic. Like, that's a bit of me, that track. Thank you for sending that in. And if you've got more tunes like that, send them in, because I'm sure people will appreciate that. That was a fantastic track. By the way, that was just a work in progress, I believe. I talked to Drew briefly about this, and I think it is just a work in progress, so that's not even the finished product. So once that's done, go and check that guy out. If you're enjoying his tune, obviously reach out to him and let him know. Fucking if you liked it, if you disliked it, if you've got any criticism on it, that's how the producers grow. Like I say this every week now, but it really is. What have we got up next? So we have new track from DVB. So Dom sent me this the other day. It's his remix of Eclipse 24/7. Obviously, very, very famous in the sort of the clubland sort of scene. Eclipse, I believe, is, if a little bit of history here, is DJ Ham from Brisk and Ham, and a million and one other aliases as well. So it's like Stimulant DJs, Cyberdrive, all the things on Stimulant Records. It was obviously the release on Tidy, and then obviously they had Brisk and Ham, which was Next Generation as well, and Hardcore Underground. They were involved in that, some of them compilations as well. So I mean, the range of tracks that they put out over the years was unbelievable. But Ham went under the name Eclipse, and I believe in some cases DJ Eclipse. This track is like, everyone's heard a lot of different remixes of it. It's been done 1,000,001 times. I think at some point we'll probably do it as well. I know straight away that this is going to be unmistakably DVB over this. So this is one of the best vocals that I think there's ever been in our style of music. I don't even think there's any debate in it, really. It would definitely be like the top 20. Massive tune. So I'm really looking forward to this here. I'm not going to lie, I have listened to this already when I was talking to Dom, and he sent me over the work in progress, but this is actually the finished version right now. So we're going to listen to this together. So this is DVB Productions' remix of Eclipse 24/7. Let me know what you think of this. One moment.
Of me when we are together, your love gets to me. I want you here forever. When you're next to me, I feel like I'm in heaven. Your love gets to me 24/7. Take the best of me when we are together. Your love gets to me. I want you forever.
Told you, it's just DVB to fuck. Unmistakably DVB riff that. So that was DVB's remix of Eclipse 24/7. I really like it. Really like it. I'm going to give my point of view subjectively, and then we'll move on to the overall track itself. Is it the version I would play? I'm going to say no, but that's because it's not the style I would play. I think I'd more hypersonic remix personally, but that's doesn't take away from this track whatsoever. This was, if Dom was going to play this out in his sets in clubs and stuff, this is fantastic. And what a rush as well on that build up with that riff, fantastic. There's some lovely little keys in there as well that maybe wouldn't the first time you listen to it wouldn't go heard so much, because it's one thing that I always admire about DVB. Sorry, I'm going off on one here, and they've nailed it here with this as well. Is They really do get the energy up with the bass patterns, with their percussion. It gives it that rushy energy that's very much part of their signature sound. I said it last week as well about the way that they use their delay and their reverbs helps with their signature sound. But one thing that I think you do hear some time to time is people trying to emulate them drums, because it's got so much energy in it, and it's really good if you ask me. There's nothing I would change about the track in this, because I think you've nailed exactly where it needs to be. It's a track everyone knows, 24/7. It's in the style of DVB, which you've absolutely nailed. The combination, great track overall. I can't think of anything I would change. There was one thing that during it where I thought, I'd maybe make this a bit tighter, but I'll quickly show you it. But by the way, I'm going to show you the keys as well. The keys are really good. I like that, really like that. There's a point when the riff kicks in, it goes from almost into the bridge section. I just feel like it could have been a bit tighter with that. I think it's here, like the transition. Take the kicks and things out like that. This is just me being absolutely like so picky, but I think that would have been a good like part to like sort of suck the energy back out and then bring it. So listen, like here, suck the energy out and then bang right back in, and it's just a little bit of a break for the dance floor. And I mean, that's just me being subjective take. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it as it is. But that's the only time where I thought, maybe I would change this. So that's just me being picky. But fantastic track. So thank you for sending that in. If you've enjoyed that track yourself and you're listening along, let Dom know. Give DVB a message and just say, fucking nice tune, mate. I don't have the release details on that. I believe he's keeping it for his sets for now. If I'm wrong, Dom, if you're watching, please correct me in the comments. If you are releasing it, let me know what the details are, and I'll plug it on here for you. And last track is, so I got this one off Danny the other day, Danny Gibson. It's Danny Gibson versus Club Thumpers, which is JJ, I believe. He actually probably only lives about 40 minutes away from me. Under his Club Thumpers alias, and it's Don't Wanna Fall. It's the Danny Gibson bounce mix. So we'll have a listen to this and see what we think. This is a complete blind listen. I've not actually listened to this track just yet. So that was Danny Gibson versus Club Thumpers, Don't Wanna Fall, the Danny Gibson bounce mix. So that was a blind listen. First immediate takeaway from this, and that is, I love the style that you've went for. I was finding myself that I was wanting to speed it up a little bit. I do like my tracks a bit slower and groovier at times, but with the way that this kick and bass and the riff was playing, it was screaming to just be just pushed up a little bit. I think it's at 140-ish. If that was a 145, I think it would maybe hit a bit better. That was my first takeaway from it. Production wise, as always, solid. The good relationship with that kick and bass. I love the bass variations you put in there as well, where it was like the quite the hollow donk in some areas. Then you had like a little like a short and sharp like moog offbeat stab almost. Really like that. The vocal as well, all very floaty and euphoric. Really like that too. There was one thing that stuck out to me a little bit, and again, I would say a subjective take, but I do feel like this would really, really benefit from it. In your drum section, in your percussion, you've got like some low mid-range sort of shuffle going on, but it seems to be a little bit of absence in the high end, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm not just here being picky or anything like that. I just feel like it would be a bit more, it would feel like I maybe wouldn't want to speed it up as much at 140, but listen to this here. Now. I feel like if there was a bit some bit more sort of high-end shuffle, just punching through in them sort of higher frequencies, I feel like that it would give it a lot more pace, and that would eliminate my original complaint. But yeah, fantastic track. That's the only sort of change I would make. I think your layout's fantastic as well. There was some lovely little arpeggio I wanted to point out. The bass change as well. That's quality. That is quality. The use of the vocal cuts from Step Back and Let the Beat Bang. That lovely use. Chord progression's banging, by the way. I lost where we were. Here. Listen to this. Arpeggio in the background. Subtle, but adds so much. Yep. So that's that. Overall quality track. I feel like I would want to speed it up a little bit just because of some of the the pacier percussion elements were a little bit listened, so it felt a bit slower in certain areas. Loved the bass, like I said. I think that was really good. So that's all for track reviews this week. I just want to say thank you to those who put forward tracks as well. If you've enjoyed them, as I say, reach out to them and let them know. Some really quality work there. Fantastic. There's a couple of things I want to talk about as well before we finish up today. I will be sharing some of our stuff at some point on this as well, just so you can review that. I've been working on some UK hardcore this week for a friend of mine, so no Manic stuff as was done in the last sort of week, but going forward we have got a couple of remixes to do as well. I'm doing a couple of videos this week, just recording some of the stuff, overviews of tracks that we've been working on and things like that, just so you can see how we put together a tune and the elements and how we process them, things like that. So hopefully people will find use in that as well. I think it's really interesting. And next up, obviously, if you've enjoyed this, share it with your friends. Please do, because it helps massively. And as well, I know this is very, very YouTube typical, but if you've liked it, drop a little like on the thumbs up thing as well, because that helps us massively too. And if you want to sign up to our mailing list where you get to find out all things sort of Manic music, I'll put a link in the description as well. One thing I wanted to finish off with, and it was bookings. I've had a couple of people reach out to me this week about bookings. Not what you're thinking as well. It's not club gigs. I am more than happy to take bookings for club gigs, events, things like that. That's, it's my bread and butter. At the end of the day, I always class myself as a circuit DJ. I love playing in various venues, sort of all around. I think that's fantastic. I've not done much of that recently. One thing that I wanted to sort of finish up on. I'm not a function DJ, so if you think, oh yeah, we want some RIFFRESH to come and play some music for us at our fucking engagement do, christenings, weddings, I don't do it, and I really, really apologise. It's more for yourself than for my personal gains. I've done things in the past, and I've been to events in the past where it's like a christening or whatever, and they've had either some sort of fucking heavy rock band come on, or metal band, or rave DJ, and I'm going to say 80% of the time it doesn't work, because you've got a range of people who, yes, the bride and the groom, or the person whose birthday is, might really like the music, but not everybody does, and it doesn't translate well, in my opinion. So rather than me come along, because this is something that I've had twice this week, which is a bit of a strange request to do functions, I outprice myself on purpose. I give you a silly figure because, and again, this is more benefit to the person in question than to myself. I say $3,000 to come and do 90 minutes, because I know nobody will pay that, right? And if you love me so much to pay £3,000, you're daft enough that I will come and do it, because if you're that keen, I know this sounds so counterproductive, but I'll price myself, because nobody except the 0.01% who would love a DJ that much would pay that much money for a 90-minute set or a wedding or whatever. I say that because I don't want to be there and ruin your special day. It's not the fact that I don't want to be there at your special day and making it better for you. I've been to enough of them where the DJ has ruined it, and I don't want to be that person where you look back on your great day of your engagement or your wedding or your birthday and go, you know what, I really enjoyed that day, but fuck me, the Brad ruined it. I don't want to be that guy, and that's just me being fully transparent. So I purposely do outprice myself. And if you're silly enough to still proceed with a booking for $3,000, I think you've got more questionable things going on in your life than paying a fat DJ like me $3,000 to do 90 minutes. I do that to everybody as well. It's not just, don't feel like I'm rejecting anybody when I say no to it. I say it to everybody, family, friends, everything. If you're a randomer who's reached out to me saying, why won't you do it? There's your answer. And I try and explain it in message as well when you ask. I do not want to ruin your special day. As much as you insist that people will like it, I promise you they won't. Like I said, 80% of the time doesn't work. So yeah, for club events and everything like that, feel free to get in touch. I will happily come and play club events and things like that. That's great. But weddings, christenings, shit like that, I'm sorry, it's a no-go. I hope that didn't come across as rude or anything like that. I just want people to know that that's the situation. It's more for the person in question than myself. If you've enjoyed this, like I say, let me know. Drop us feedback in the comments, and I'll see you again next week. Have a brilliant week, and I'll see you later.